Hello. Okay, today is chapter 7 and 8 of the Milo and Jazz mysteries. So here we go. Chapter 7. Chip wasn't in the locker room. He wasn't on the tennis court either. Milo thought. Wildcat Willie said something about Chip going to Bola's with the cheerleaders. Maybe he'll be there. Great, Jazz said. Let's go. All the teenagers hung out at Bola's Burger Barn. Everything about Bola's was big. Her booming voice, her sky-high hair, her belly-busting chocolate shakes. Milo spotted Chip sharing a booth with a redhead girl in a tennis outfit. Leaving Ethan at the counter with money for an ice cream, they squeezed through the crowd. But enough about me, Chip was saying to the girl. What do you think of my tennis serve? Milo broke in. Sorry to bother you, but... Turning to him, Chip wrinkled his nose. Whoa, and you complained about my mousse. No offense, kid, but whatever you got on, it smells like garbage. Milo sighed. I wanted to ask about those socks. They smelled like garbage, too. The boy you saw taking them. Who was he? I don't know, Chip said. I only saw him from the back. What was he wearing? Jazz asked. Witness. Chip the champ. Smelly socks? Observed thief. Who? Chip frowned. A baseball cap, I think. What color? Blue and gold, of course. Wildcat colors. Milo caught his breath. Maybe the thief really wasn't an Eagleston Eagle. Could it have been Wildcat Willie? Milo asked. Chip said, I think I know the difference between a baseball cap and a giant furry head. The girl snickered. Milo said, I didn't mean... Oh, I remember one more thing, Chip interrupted. He was wearing a jacket with writing on the back. Now they were getting somewhere. What did it say? Milo asked. Chip shrugged. I forgot. Oh, I forget. Tossing his hair out of his eyes, he checked himself out in the mirror again. Milo sighed. If Chip would only stop admiring himself long enough to tell them what they needed to know. Think, Jazz said. Please. Chip thought. Something about baseball, maybe? Something like bat or base? No, wait. I know it. It was mitt. Milo and Jazz looked at each other. Mitt? Are you sure? Chip nodded. I remember now, mitt, like a baseball mitt? That seems like a strange thing to put on a jacket, Jazz said. Yeah, well, baseball players aren't exactly famous for their fashion sense. Chip eyed his reflection again. Now a tennis star, on the other hand. Milo and Jazz made their escape, scooping up Ethan on their way out. He had pistachios ice cream smeared all over his face, and his t-shirt, and his hair. At least now he was sort of the color of a dinosaur. Mitt, Jazz said as they left. Why mitt? Maybe it was short for something, Milo suggested. Is there anyone on the team named Mitchell? Or Mitt something else? I'll ask Dylan. She pulled a notebook out of her pocket. It was purple with gold stars. What is that? Milo said. My detective notebook, of course. Real detectives do not write in purple notebooks, Jazz. Oh yeah? She pointed to a sticky pink spot on his shirt. Do real detectives wear strawberry jam? While he scrubbed at the spot with spit, Jazz wrote in her notebook. She tapped her pen against her teeth. It could also be a nickname that had nothing to do with his name. Maybe it means that he wears a baseball mitt? Don't all the players wear a mitt? Milo asked. Jazz shook her head. Most of them wear a glove. Only the catcher and first baseman wear a mitt. So the thief had to be one of those two players. Or maybe nicknamed Mitt, she reminded him. Milo felt excitement bubbling up inside him, like one of Blue's root beer floats. He was so close. Soon he'll be writing to Dash Marlowe to reveal how he'd solved his first case. Chapter 8. As soon as Milo's mom got home from work, he and Jazz dropped off Ethan, got their bikes, and headed over to the baseball field. Practice had just ended, and most of the team was packing up. They found Dylan slouched on the bench. Another boy stood on the pitcher's mound, hurling fastballs to the catcher. You don't look too happy, Milo said. Dylan looked up. My pitching was so bad today. Coach said he'll put me in a substitute. Coach said he's putting in a substitute. I'm sorry. I don't get to throw against the Eagles in tomorrow's game. That's terrible, Jazz said. It's all because I lost Dylan sniffed the ear. My socks. You found them? No, she explained. Milo jumped into a dumpster. But we might have a clue about who stole your socks. Milo asked, is there someone on the team named Mitt? Or anything starting with Emmett? Mitt? Dylan shook his head. Could you tell us the name of the first baseman and the catcher? Jazz asked. Oscar, Molina, and P.J. Boyd. He said, why? We think one of them took your socks. Dylan stared at his sister. They wouldn't do that. We're on the same team. Are you sure you didn't do something to make them mad? Asked Milo. Oscar is one of my best friends, Dylan said. Besides, he wasn't even here yesterday. He had to go to the dentist. That left only one possible suspect. Triumphantly, Milo announced, then P.J. Boyd must have been the one who stole your socks from the boys' locker room. Sorry, taking. Dylan said, but PJ never even goes in there. Why not? Jazz asked. Dylan called, hey PJ, come here for a minute. The catcher stood up, jogged toward them. PJ pulled off the heavy catcher's mitt and plastic helmet and shook out a long ponytail. PJ was a girl. Yeah, PJ said. Dylan looked at Milo and Jazz. They didn't say anything. He turned to PJ. Tell Tim he's leaning back a little too far on the wind-up. Okay. She started to walk away, then turned back. I wish Coach hadn't pulled you off tomorrow's game. You're the best pitcher in the league. Dylan sighed. Not without my lucky socks. PJ shook her head. You and those socks, Dylan. You don't need luck. You just need to get your head back in the game. Dylan didn't answer. He just sat there, scuffing a cleat in the dirt. Milo felt awful. He had been so sure they were about to nab the thief. If the Wildcats lost to the Eagles tomorrow, it would be all his fault. Maybe it was Wildcat Willie after all, Jazz said as they left the field. Or maybe it really was an eagle. But Chip said the thief was wearing a Wildcats baseball cap, Milo said. Just because he said it doesn't mean it's true. You mean Chip was lying? Milo thought. Could Chip be the thief? Maybe he was jealous of Thrill and Dylan. Jazz shook her head. I mean, maybe Chip just didn't see exactly what he thought he saw. Jazz might be right, but if they couldn't trust what Chip told them about the thief, what did they have? Nothing at all. Alright, tune in tomorrow.